The concrete canyons of Manhattan are no strangers to spectacle, but what is unfolding in the heart of midtown New York City transcends the usual rhythm of the metropolis. Something monumental is anchoring itself at 7th Avenue, transforming a legendary landmark into a fortress of absolute secrecy. For decades, this specific intersection has witnessed the rise of sports legends and the echoes of historic musical triumphs. Yet the atmosphere surrounding the venue right now feels entirely unprecedented. The air is thick with anticipation, and the sheer scale of logistical movement suggests an event that will redefine modern popular culture. Security is tighter than it has ever been for any political summit or international gathering, forcing passersby and seasoned city dwellers alike to stop and wonder what kind of history is being written behind closed doors. The scale of the operation is staggering, and as heavy transport vehicles begin to dominate the perimeter, the whispering across the city has turned into a roar of global curiosity. If you want to stay ahead of the biggest cultural moments and never miss a deep dive into the events shaping our world, make sure to subscribe to this channel and turn on all notifications right now. To understand the magnitude of what is currently happening, one must look at the physical transformation of the space surrounding the iconic indoor arena. Madison Square Garden, the historic home of the New York Knicks and the New York Rangers, has effectively been cut off from the standard pulse of New York traffic. Enormous semi-trailer trucks, lined up in precise rows, have taken over the loading zones, their massive back-end doors swung open to reveal a chaotic symphony of heavy industrial crates and sophisticated technical equipment. The entire perimeter has been rapidly fortified with heavy-duty metal security barriers, creating an impenetrable line between the public sidewalk and the unfolding mystery inside. Prominent, freshly printed signs have been posted across multiple blocks, declaring an absolute parking ban and rendering the entire area completely off-limits to unauthorized personnel. This strict lockdown is scheduled to remain in place for a window that stretches across the transition from June into early July, signaling a long-term installation rather than a standard single-night performance. The visual clues left behind by the massive logistics crews are fueling an intense wave of speculation across the globe. Forklifts are operating at a frantic pace, lifting heavy pallets wrapped in thick, opaque tarps designed specifically to obscure the contents from the prying lenses of paparazzi and curious onlookers. Despite the strict enforcement of operational secrecy, certain details have managed to slip through the cracks, offering tantalizing hints to those paying close attention. On several pieces of heavy machinery being moved into the depths of the arena, handwritten and printed labels have been spotted, bearing specific instructions that point toward a very particular geographical origin. One prominent sign caught the eye of investigators, explicitly reading with instructions to return the cargo to Nashville, Tennessee. For anyone familiar with the architecture of modern entertainment, that city name immediately evokes the imagery of country music roots and the global headquarters of one of the most powerful artistic empires of the 21st century. Furthermore, the technological sophisticated nature of the transport vehicles suggests an operation of unprecedented complexity. Several of the large trailers parked along the secure zone feature distinct markings taped above their massive bay doors, referencing specific technical designations. These markings correspond directly to advanced stage equipment transportation systems developed by top-tier entertainment engineering firms. Industry experts recognize these systems as highly specialized, modified shipping containers that serve a dual purpose. They are not merely hollow shells for transport, but fully integrated technological units housing heavy audio configurations, automated lighting grids, and complex stage mechanics. These specialized units feature built-in hydraulic lifts, allowing massive speaker arrays and automated structural elements to be raised directly from the container into a performance-ready state within minutes. This specific, high-efficiency system is famous for its deployment on massive international stadium tours, where saving space, reducing setup time, and hiding the true nature of the stage design are paramount to maintaining the element of surprise. The mystery deepens when examining the specific corporate entities attached to the incoming cargo. Among the flurry of forklift activity, multiple large equipment crates have been observed bearing highly distinctive, custom-designed flyers. These flyers, deliberately styled with a dramatic skull and crossbones motif, clearly designate the items as the property of a prominent Los Angeles-based scenic design firm. This specific creative company is widely celebrated within elite circles for engineering some of the most lavish, visually arresting sets and immersive environments for high-profile live events, television broadcasts, and exclusive private celebrations across the globe. The presence of a West Coast luxury scenic powerhouse operating under such heavy security in the middle of New York City indicates that whatever is being constructed inside the world's most famous arena goes far beyond a standard concert layout. It points toward the creation of a completely bespoke, custom-built world designed to exist for only a fleeting moment in time as the physical footprint of the event expands. The surrounding business community has begun to feel the immediate economic and logistical weight of the lockdown. Local establishment owners who rely heavily on the predictable foot traffic of sports fans and concert goers are finding themselves caught in a vacuum of information. The lack of official communication from the venue coordinators has left surrounding restaurants, bars, and retail shops in a state of high anxiety. As they attempt to navigate the sudden restrictions without clear guidelines on how the massive gathering will impact their daily operations. The contrast between the intense, visible activity of the production crews and the absolute silence from official spokespeople has created a dramatic tension that hangs heavily over the entire neighborhood. The world is watching this midtown block, waiting for a confirmation that many believe is already written in the concrete and steel currently moving into Madison Square Garden. The intricate puzzle pieces scattered across the perimeter of Manhattan's most celebrated arena are beginning to coalesce into a narrative of staggering proportions, sending shockwaves far beyond the borders of the entertainment world. While official confirmation remains fiercely guarded under lock and key, the sheer physical reality of the objects passing through the heavily fortified loading docks of Madison Square Garden speaks a language of absolute luxury and grand celebration. Among the endless stream of industrial pallets being systematically guided into the depths of the venue, sharp-eyed observers managed to spot a massive, tightly bound roll of premium green carpet, specifically engineered to simulate a flawless, manicured grass lawn upon the stadium's concrete floor. This striking visual clue is accompanied by an even more telling artifact uncovered by investigative journalists tracking the arriving freight. A heavy-duty equipment crate, securely bolted and heavily shielded from the elements, bore a highly conspicuous label printed across its side, indicating the presence of a massive 40-inch custom mirror ball. To the uninitiated, this might seem like a standard piece of arena party decor, but to millions of devoted cultural chroniclers, the phrase acts as an undeniable, poetic signature pointing directly to one of the most celebrated track titles from a landscape-shifting acoustic album released during the global lockdown. As the pieces of this multi-million-dollar logistical puzzle continue to fall into place, the human element behind the scenes reveals a layer of enforced silence that is almost unprecedented for a civilian event. The army of technicians, local stagehands, and specialized union workers operating within the restricted zone find themselves wrapped in a strict web of total operational obscurity. When pressed for details regarding the true nature of the grand construction unfolding beneath the arena's iconic sagging cable roof, the individuals tasked with building the massive set express an almost uniform sense of bewilderment. Laborers at the site admit that they have been kept completely in the dark by the production management team, noting that the entire atmosphere is intensely tight-lipped and that no specific names, schedules, or event titles are being shared down the chain of command. This extraordinary level of institutional discretion extends across a vast network of premium vendors, including elite lighting design syndicates, high-capacity transport conglomerates, and specialized structural firms that deal exclusively in heavy piping and lavish fabric draping. While a few minor suppliers have subtly allowed their connection to the mega event to hover in the public consciousness, the vast majority of premium contractors have taken the extreme step of completely covering, taping over, or blacking out their corporate logos and business names on all incoming equipment to maintain a state of total, absolute anonymity. This radical commitment to total secrecy has naturally drawn intense commentary from historical experts who specialize in navigating the complex world of high society events and high-profile private milestones. The immense public speculation surrounding the impending July 3rd gathering recently prompted an authoritative voice from the golden era of modern American cultural history to weigh in on the logistical reality of the situation. The legendary mastermind who successfully orchestrated the iconic, deeply mythologized secret wedding of John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette, back in the mid-90s, shared her expert perspective on the current rumors dominating global headlines. Drawing upon her deep history of managing intense media scrutiny, she expressed immense skepticism regarding the idea of the actual legal nuptial ceremony taking place directly within the open bowls of Madison Square Garden. Instead, the seasoned public relations strategist proposed an alternative, highly compelling theory that aligns perfectly with the unique artistic philosophy of the individuals involved. She suggested that while an intimate, completely hidden private ceremony might occur elsewhere in absolute isolation, the historic New York City venue is likely being transformed to host an unprecedented, spectacular celebration designed specifically to honor an emotional bond with an intensely dedicated global community. The art of pulling off an impossibly massive event completely undetected requires a level of psychological warfare and strategic misdirection that few individuals in the world possess. Yet the architects of this modern spectacle seem to be executing it flawless precision. Reflecting on the historic achievement of 1996, when a prominent American political heir managed to completely evade the global press corps to wed his soulmate in a tiny, rustic wooden chapel completely devoid of electricity on a remote, undeveloped barrier island off the coast of Georgia with only 40 trusted guests in attendance. Experts emphasize that the absolute key to success lies in restricting written communication. In the modern digital landscape, where data leaks are a constant threat, the elite planners behind this summer's most anticipated gathering are reportedly relying strictly on old-school methodology. Intelligence originating from major network investigative units indicates that the over 1,000 distinguished guests who have successfully confirmed their attendance for the blockbuster July 3rd event were required to navigate a rigorous vetting process. Every single prospective attendee was bound by a comprehensive, legally airtight non-disclosure agreement before they were ever permitted to receive their encrypted electronic invitations. Furthermore, in a move that mirrors elite military operations, the vast assembly of high-profile guests will remain completely blind to the exact physical address and entry coordinates of the main celebration until the morning of the event itself, leaving the global media apparatus entirely off balance as the clock ticks closer to the designated date. The decision to lean directly into this level of immense, jaw-dropping spectacle marks a fascinating evolution in the public journey of the two global icons at the center of the storm. Insiders close to the situation reveal that after months of weighing the benefits of a quiet, entirely hidden elopement against the reality of their massive cultural footprints, the powerhouse couple ultimately decided to fully embrace the grandeur of their shared reality. They chose to construct a celebration that matches the scale of the stadiums they regularly fill and the historic sports coliseums where their public narrative first captured the imagination of the world. Yet, this magnificent ambition does not come without a severe cost to the local infrastructure of the surrounding city. As the massive steel framework and advanced acoustic technology continue to submerge into the arena, the small business ecosystem of midtown Manhattan is bracing for an economic impact of unknown proportions. Operating in one of the most heavily congested transportation corridors on the planet, local entrepreneurs are expressing profound worry over the total lack of actionable security blueprints and crowd management details provided to them. With less than a month to go before the projected date of the massive gathering, prominent hospitality venues, neighborhood taverns, and high-volume restaurants claim they are still floating in an informational vacuum. Desperate to know how a sudden influx of elite international guests and thousands of gathering spectators will alter the delicate balance of their daily commerce. The convergence of these two distinct worlds of elite sports and global music royalty marks the climax of a cultural narrative that has captivated the global public for years. To fully comprehend why this impending celebration at Madison Square Garden carries such immense weight, one must examine the extraordinary journeys of the two individuals at the center of this media maelstrom. On one side stands a transformative musical force whose decades-long career has systematically redefined the architecture of the modern music industry. From her early days as a teenage songwriter navigating the competitive circles of Nashville to her evolution into a record-shattering pop titan, she has demonstrated an unparalleled ability to turn personal narrative into universal anthems. Her recent multi-year international stadium tour has not only shattered every financial and logistical record in entertainment history, but has also acted as a massive economic engine, altering the financial landscapes of the global cities it visited. Her artistic journey has been defined by an unyielding dedication to her craft and an intense, fiercely protective relationship with a global fan base that dissects every lyric, outfit, and public appearance for deeper meaning. This wedding celebration is not merely a personal milestone for her, but a grand validation of a life lived entirely in the brilliant glare of the public eye, proving that even the most scrutinized individual can find a genuine, resonant partnership that commands the respect of the world. Simultaneously, the man standing beside her represents the absolute pinnacle of modern athletic achievement and charismatic showmanship within the realm of American sports. As a cornerstone of the Kansas City Chiefs dynasty, his journey through the high-stakes world of professional football has been defined by a relentless competitive drive, exceptional physical dominance, and an infectious, larger-than-life personality that naturally draws people toward him. A multiple-time Super Bowl champion and widely regarded as one of the greatest to ever play his position, he has spent his career thriving under the intense pressure of stadium lights and millions of critical eyes. Yet, his transition from a sports icon into a global cultural figurehead accelerated exponentially when his path crossed with the world's premier pop artist. Together, they have forged a partnership that transcends the traditional boundaries of celebrity relationships. Experts and cultural commentators frequently point to their unique public dynamic, noting a shared effervescence and an unyielding commitment to actively cheering each other on from the luxury suites of football stadiums to the VIP tents of international concert venues. This mutual public support has flipped the script on traditional celebrity romances, replacing the standard posture of reclusive secrecy with a vibrant, joyful celebration of shared success that has deeply endeared them to hundreds of millions of observers worldwide. The choice of Madison Square Garden as the epicenter for this monumental event carries profound historical and symbolic resonance that far beyond its convenience as a midtown Manhattan venue. Known globally as the world's most famous arena, this structure has served as the sacred ground for the most significant moments in modern entertainment and sports history, making it the perfect canvas for a union of this magnitude. Rather than retreating to a completely isolated private island or a hidden estate far from civilization, the couple's decision to embrace the sheer spectacle of a massive urban gathering is a bold statement of their shared cultural reality. Transforming an indoor stadium that routinely hosts intense professional basketball and hockey games into a lavish, custom-tailored sanctuary of romance requires an engineering feat of astonishing proportions. The installation of massive acoustic arrays, custom-built, scenic environments designed by elite West Coast firms, and symbolic elements like a 40-inch custom mirror ball all serve to create an immersive universe within the concrete heart of New York City. This grand scale allows them to accommodate an elite assembly of over 1,000 distinguished guests, creating a historic gathering of talent, influence, and artistry that will likely never be replicated in this generation as the final logistical preparations move toward their ultimate conclusion for the July 3rd date. The broader implications of this event continue to reverberate through the fabric of popular culture. The intense operational security, characterized by legally binding non-disclosure agreements and encrypted, last-minute location reveals, demonstrates a sophisticated blueprint for managing privacy in an era of total digital exposure. This methodology will likely serve as the definitive case study for future high-profile figures seeking to execute monumental celebrations without sacrificing total control over their personal narrative. Beyond the logistics and the staggering financial scale of the production, the true legacy of this historic gathering lies in its ability to unite disparate factions of modern culture. It has bridged the